So in this final video, we're going to go through and actually insert a new product, and that's going to require us to do some subquerying and inserts as a collective effort. So we're going to kind of walk through that and see how to do it. So we're going to start out by inserting a new product into the products table. Now to do that, we have a lot of data fields that need to be completed, but we also have these two foreign key reference fields. Now, in doing that, obviously we can look up these foreign key values and then just insert them into an insert statement. It would look something like this. Insert into sales lt.product. And then we'd list off all of these fields that we want. We want name, product number, color, standard cost, list price, size, weight, product category ID, product model ID, the sell start date, sell end date, discount date. There's a thumbnail field. Scroll over here. There's the thumbnail name, there's a row good, and modified date. So that's quite a list of fields that we would need to provide. And then we do values, and then we would actually put in all of those values. And in there we would do, for the product category ID, we'd end up doing comma, whatever the ID is. So let's say it's 20 and 6 for a product model, and then we'd go through and complete the rest. So that is pretty simple and straightforward. It requires us to do a couple of select lookups off of the product category table. We'd have to look up our product category ID, find which one was appropriate for us, and then actually key that in here. So in our case, in this example rather, I just typed in 20, so touring frames. And we would do the same for the product model. And in my example, I typed 6. But if we wanted to do that in a more comprehensive way, or let's say that there was multiple rows that we wanted to generate, and maybe that was even being generated from pre-existing data, we would actually want to use a subquery and then insert rows based on that query. So what we can do here is, instead of typing in values, we can actually do a select statement. So what we would do is we would remove the values and we'd say insert into, and then we would provide all the columns, but then instead of doing the values and then doing a list of values, we can actually do a select statement. So I've actually got one pre-written just as an example. And it would look something like this. So each one of these fields lines up to the associated column name. So then when you would run that to do the insert, it would insert all the values. So you run that, and it says one row affected. And from there, we can now do a select all from sales lt.product, where we'll go ahead and search on the product name itself. So where the name equals, too many quotes, that product. So we've now essentially inserted that product into the database. Now there's another way that we could do it, because again, we still hard-coded things such as product category ID and product model. So because this is a select statement, we have some flexibility and some variability that we can do. So one of the things that we can do in here is that we can change out this 20 and this 6 to actually be a subselect. So this 20 here is the product category ID, and this is the product model ID. So instead of just typing in 20, we could say that we're not really sure what the ID will be, because it could be dependent on the database itself, but we know that it always carries a specific name. So let's go back and look up our product category, and we're looking for, in this database, product category ID of 20. And what we're really looking for is touring frames, and it has a row GUID of this value. So that row GUID in theory should always be unique, while this ID may shift depending on the context. So we can actually do a select off of either one. I'm going to go ahead and just do it off the row GUID. And then what I'm going to type in here is I'm going to delete the 20, and I'm going to say select product category ID. from salesLT.product category where row GUID equals the GUID. And what that will do is it'll actually cause SQL to do that query first and bring us back the value. So now I'm going to copy that query and I'm just going to manipulate it because we're going to do something similar for product model. So product model, and this time we went with 6. So I'm going to grab that row GUID and I'll paste it in here. And then I'm going to change my table from product category to product model because we're going to be querying that table. And then the field that we're going to be pulling out is the product model ID. So now this will actually result in getting the same insert. So again, we're doing an insert into the products table and we're inserting into all of these columns. As part of that insert, we've built a select statement, and if I actually break all of this out a little better, we can see that this is the name field. This is the product number field. This is the color. This is the standard cost. This is the list price. This is the size. And weight. And then this ends up becoming the product category ID and so forth. So I won't waste the time of typing all that in, but you can start to now see how those all kind of relate together. So if we just run this insert statement again, we can't have two products with the same name, so we'll say test product 2 just to make it unique. We can't have duplicate product numbers, so we'll make this 4, 5. And now we've inserted a unique item into the product table. So now if we query out the product table, select all from sales lt.product where the product number equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll now get back our new product, test product 2, and it will have that product category ID of 20 and that model ID of 6 based on the sub-select statements. So you can perform that same task whenever you're needing to pull values from two different locations. And it also comes in handy when you're trying to maybe query a bunch of data into a new result set and store it as a collective into a new table. So there's a lot of methods of using the select statements to actually populate insert statements.